The talkSPORT website have done the Arsenal sick bay and put it together today. Unavailable players, quite possibly for the Liverpool game. Calafiori seemed to have injured his knee last night. Saliba suspended. Odegaard still with that ankle injury. Bukayo Saka's thigh. Tomiyasu's got a knock on his knee. I mean, Kieran Tierney's still technically an Arsenal player. He's got another thigh injury. He's not involved. Urian Timber's got a muscle injury. So tough times on the injury front for Arsenal. But last night on the sports bar, it wasn't the physios getting clogged, it was the manager. This is a little flavour of some of the calls that were coming after that 1-0 win over Shakhtar.
Arteta needs to go, lads, come on. All these young lads, Reece Nelson, Smith Rowe, he's let them all go out the door. You know, and the amount of money that Arsenal have spent since he's been there, and we've won an FA Cup, lads.
I just think there is something that's not right. What's going on there? See, the Villa fans, big respect, because I'll tell you what, all the two Bob Arsenal fans that wanted Emery out didn't have a clue. That fella should have been given more time, and he would have got it right.
Basically, I've only known Wenger. Even in his darkest days, Wenger still had Rosicky, you still had Cazorla, you still had a little bit of Vavavoom. There's no Vavavoom anywhere on the pitch.
Is there?
That's after a win.
So fickle, honestly. It's ridiculous. He's done a brilliant job.
I think he's done
there.
well. As a Tottenham fan, I hope you get rid of him.
Yeah,
because I think he's done an amazing job.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Anyway, I'm sure that's not... I mean, look, for example, Malcolm says, toughest start of any team by far, key players out of injuries, 3 games with 10 players, seconds away from beating City away, 4 points off the top, and every other big club other than City or Real Madrid.
Don't forget Matt Scott's vendetta from the PGMOL.
That's right, yeah, he'll have a conspiracy theory. Every other club, including City and Real Madrid, would probably have him as a manager in a heartbeat. Total nonsense. Should be treated as such, is Malcolm's take on it.
I agree with Malcolm.
Harry Symeou is an Arsenal fan, broadcaster. Hi, Harry.
Afternoon, guys. How you doing?
Not so bad.
Good.
What do you make of the little roundup there of the Gooner posse on the sports bar last night after a win?
I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I think I'm allowed to say then that was a load of nonsense that we're hearing from so-called Arsenal fans who have chosen to ignore 3 years of clear progress to just focus in on a couple of indifferent performances. I mean, at the weekend, Arsenal were really, really poor at Bournemouth, and I would argue that Mikel Arteta maybe approached the game wrong in terms of the way he set the team up, and I also didn't really agree with the fact that he changed it so drastically after Arsenal went down to 10 men. I didn't agree with the sacrificing of an attacker in that scenario. However, last night Arsenal won, and winning a game in the Champions League should never be taken for granted. Was it the most riveting performance? No. Are there still a few issues? Yes. But I do think we can get into this place where we start over-analysing this. And the reality is that Arsenal have got their 2 best players missing at the moment. That's not an excuse for the level of drop-off that we've seen in the performances. And I think we need to find a way to do better, obviously. But to start calling for the manager's head after a Champions League victory just makes no sense to me. And when I hear things like that, I think to myself, those people don't deserve the good times because they are literally sitting there trying to create a major issue when there simply isn't one.
What about the recruitment in the summer, though? Were you happy with it?
I won't say I was totally satisfied with it. I think we all go into a summer as fans with an idea of maybe what we think the team needs. I thought we needed to strengthen in midfield. That was, for me, the priority. We went out and got Mikel Merino. Unfortunately, he picked up that injury and missed a good couple of months. So we've been without him, which has been a problem. I don't think anybody anticipated Martin Odegaard picking up the injury that he did as well. Centre forward was another position that I wanted to see Arsenal strengthen in. They decided not to do that, I believe, because the target that they'd identified as the number 1, Benjamin Sesko, was not available. And so they decided to add a temporary solution to the attack in Raheem Sterling. Calafiori, I don't think a left-back was at the top of the priority list, but Arsenal obviously thought he could add something. You think about the options that they have at the clubs, Zinchenko, Kivi or Timber can play there. Tomiyasu's played there. It didn't feel like a major priority for me, but they went and done it anyway. I think we could have done with maybe one more, and the centre forward is probably the piece that I would say I would have liked to have seen us add. But I'm not going to say I'm unhappy with it. It's not ticked every box that I had, but who am I in comparison to Mikel Arteta is what I'd say to that.
What have you made of Sterling's contribution so far, Harry?
I think it's difficult for him because he's coming in and out of the side when he has been tasked to play. He's been often deployed on that right-hand side, which I'm not sure is his best position. I think if we think of all the glory years of Raheem Sterling's career so far, the majority of the good work, he did it down the left-hand side. So I'm wary of that. I'm conscious of that. I'm conscious of the game state that he's been thrown into at times. Could he do more? Yes. And I think there's more to come from Raheem Sterling. I haven't been blown away by his contribution so far. But I don't think that's an issue for Arsenal. I think creativity in the central areas has been the real big problem in recent weeks. And we know that Mikel Arteta's tried to change it up a little bit by playing with almost two false nines in Trossard and Havertz to almost accommodate for the absence of Martin Odegaard. I'm not sure that that gives you the creativity that you need. It gives you the stability defensively when you can morph back into the 4-4-2. But I think it's a wider problem that we have within the squad. And, you know, people are looking at Raheem Sterling and saying, well, you brought him in to add to the attack and he hasn't really done that yet. I just don't think that the problems that we have at the minute are problems that you can attribute to him.
I think on Sunday it's such a crucial game. You have a feeling that he'd take a draw now just to keep the status quo the same, because if he'd lose to Liverpool, you know, what is it now, 4 points? It'd be 7 points. That's quite a lot to make up.
Yeah, it is quite a lot to make up. I think in my head, at this point in the season, I expected Arsenal to be a bit off the pace just because of the fixtures that they've had in comparison to the sides that we're expecting them to be challenging with come the end of the campaign. So I'm not panicking at this stage, but you certainly feel like after that defeat at Bournemouth that we can't afford to lose more ground. I've been really impressed with Liverpool. I didn't think Liverpool would start as well as they have under a new manager. I thought it would take maybe a little bit of time for them to get going, but they've been brilliant and they turn up full of confidence, obviously. It is a must-not-lose game for Arsenal. I don't think you can say it's it's must-win in October, but it's definitely a must-not-lose for the kind of mentality, for the confidence, and because of all the talk that that's going to bring. I mean, they beat Shakhtar Donetsk yesterday, and listen to the tone of conversations that are being had today. So God help us if they get beat at the weekend.
Good man, Harry. Thanks very much. Good to talk to you.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Harry Symeou there, Arsenal fan, broadcaster. Our thanks to him. Thanks for all your contributions. And Sports Bar back tonight after all the games, of course, if you want to have your say, at 10 o'clock, as always. I thought what Arteta said last night was pretty fair if he was my manager. I mean, I took his point. It was a bit flat. A lot of players had a game at the weekend, having come back from international, quite a lot of them flying in from South America. And they got a bit of a drop-off in the second half, but they still got the result. That's the key.
Yeah,
really.
absolutely.
And I think he was saying they need the crowd to be the 12th man. It's hard sometimes as fans, when you go into a game as big as Liverpool and you haven't got your first team, you feel it's going to be a tough day, but I think it's going to have to be one of those days when they try and lift the team a bit. Should be a cracking match.
Should be.
Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs, Monday to Friday afternoons 1 till 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.